Hey everybody, this is Robert, and tonight I'm going to do a special segment because I've been wanting to do this for quite a long time, and I just don't have the time to do it. And even though I got a lot of time, there's a lot of time that I have, but I just don't have time this time. Anyway, so I just want to tell you about, I work for a company in Grand Rapids. They're a heating and cooling company, probably one of the biggest in town. Actually, if you really want to know the truth, I think they're like top of the top, way up here. I mean, they are the top. To me, they are the best company and best company I've ever worked for, to be honest with you. And so, with that being said, there's a lot that I can say about this company. Now, I came into this company and they were, I was the number 4 technician. I was HVAC technician. They actually sent me to school. To me, I was like one of the best. I was turnover tech. I did a lot of going to people's houses, checking out their furnaces, and if their furnaces needed to be replaced, I tried to explain to them what needed to be done. Now, and working with this company, you do a lot of up and down stairs and everything. And at that time, I was actually carrying a little bit too much weight. But never, to think about it is the growth of this company and what it has turned out to be. So I'm going to talk about everybody. And if I missed somebody, please forgive me. It's just I got to get through this so nobody loses interest in what I'm saying. So when I first started with the company, my manager, I'm not going to give up their last names. I can use their first names. It doesn't matter because you can't know what their last names are no matter what. But the guy that hired me, his name was Keith. I remember the day that I walked into the company. The first person I was met by was a woman named Ann. And Ann is a sweetheart, believe me. And we'll get to her, hopefully, if I don't forget, down the road. So with this, I walked in his office. He sat down. He talked to me, and he, about, where I came from, why did I want to get into HVAC, how much, what was my actual experience. And I told him, at this time, I only had like a year's experience doing it. And he was a really funny guy. I liked him, and it seemed like I had a real good talk. I felt good about the interview. It went for quite a while, and then I think it was Kurt who sat in part of this interview at this time. I don't really know, but I do know that one time, the second interview I had with him, the owner Nathan he was there as well. So they hired me in. I accepted their offer and I went to go work for them. And I was already excited. I knew that this is where I needed to go. I knew it. And so I started working for them. Now, at the time, I met all the technicians. I met, the senior technicians and the major turnover techs. And they trained me for a couple months to make sure that I could go out on my own. I had my own van and everything else. I went through some excellent training. I went to a real good school, UTA in Arkansas, Little Rock. And so they trained me so well that I was proud. I mean, to this day, they will vouch that I do miss being an HVAC technician. It's because I got to get out and meet people and talk to people, and that's what I love doing. And they made it possible for me to do that. So I was really, really like just pumped up, and I can't explain the adrenaline it felt to be out there doing that job and helping people and helping them make decisions, but making it their choice, giving it to them to be their choice. So in doing so, I developed, relationships with each of the people around. And it was, like I said, it was just amazing. and he got a little bit of competition going there a few times, and it was, it was just a little bit of stress here, a little bit of stress there. But I had a good manager, and having a good manager is always a good thing, because he was going to lead me to be successful. He's going to teach me to be successful, and that's what he did. And I loved it. I loved everything about this company. The atmosphere was actually really good. You just felt comfortable. You felt like you fit in. You felt like everything was, you know, okay. I mean, when you went out and you had a hard day, it was just a hard day. You'll do better tomorrow. And they build up that confidence in you so you can do that. And that's why he's such a good manager. And I just loved it. And then, not to mention, like, we got to go out and play golf, which was fun. A golf outing with the company. I never had done that before, and it was just so great that day. I had to take care of one of our guys because he had a little bit too much to drink, so I had to watch after him the whole entire day and take care of him and make sure he wasn't going to drive drunk, and making sure that we can get him sober before he could drive home. And I kind of spent the whole entire day with him. But I felt that that was my responsibility, as a friend, being the family is like my little brother. I wouldn't let him go out and do the same thing, because it's just not what you do. And so I did that, and it felt good to do that, because it makes you feel like you're needed, and and that's the atmosphere that they built there. And then let's talk about the owner Nathan. He is one of the most, to this day, I see him as such a very strong Christian background, and he is like one of the greatest people I've ever known. And there's, if you think about it, there's a part of him where it's all business. He is a businessman, but he doesn't let the business become between him and his faith in God. He doesn't let that happen. And like, even to this day, he'll give me a verse, or he'll say, something like this and something like that, and it's really exciting. And I remember this one time when I went to his office, and I was, like I said, I was a turnover tech, but he gave me this idea. And the idea was to work on a condenser. That's the machine outside that makes all the noise when you're outside, or it's under your window when you're trying to sleep, and it starts up. So he says, when you go to take that, you got the top off it, or you're gonna, like, the meter. We hold on to the meter, and this meter it's mega ohms, and it basically, it's a box that has two wires, and you hook it up to see if the coil's burned up forever. And so you got to kind of hold on to the wires, and then you ask the customer, say, okay, I need a little bit of help on this. Could you, like, I'm going to hold these wires on, and all I want you to do is push that red button and tell me where the lights go. So, and when you do that, kind of look away like it's going to blow up or something like that. And it's a real fun game. And believe it or not, I did that with a couple customers. Like, I remember one time the guy I had do this, and it worked so well, is I held it on there, and I said, all you need to do is hold on to this box. I didn't got three hands, and usually there's a hook that goes on there, but I just can't. Can you just hold it? So I put it on the leads, and I held it there, and I said, okay, now push that red button. And I went like this, and the guy goes, what? And I go, well, sometimes there's things that happen. I just don't want to get hit with it. And he pulls away, and he walks through. He goes, oh, dude, he goes, it's okay, man. Just, you don't have to test that, do you? And I said, no, I got it. So I got my hand up there. I pushed the button, because it had clips on it, by the way. And I flipped it on there, and I pushed it, and everything was checking out great, And I said, oh, by the way, gotcha. And the guy just literally freaking laughed. It was so funny. But Nathan gave me that idea, and it kind of built a relationship. And that's kind of what we did. we built relationships with the customer. We didn't go in there and say, hey, we're here to fix your system, we're here to check it out. No, we come in there, we introduce ourselves, and we make it really easy to get the customer to talk to us and to make them feel comfortable. And so they're not so, and anxiety's not so high. And Nathan gave me the abilities to do that. He gave me a lot of good, he always said, here, let me give you a nugget. And those nuggets were really good. He had been in it a long time. And then, like I said, got Keith, now we got Nathan, and all this, just, you can feel it, and feel it in the air, and you can feel it every time you walk around. And other technicians, especially when we had meetings. We had meetings, I think it was every Wednesday, and of course, that's when you get to see the other techs, because you really don't see any of them during the week because you're all out on jobs and stuff. And every so often you call Eric, he's the senior tech, one of the freaking best people in the world. I swear to you, he is the top tech of the world. Believe me, he taught me so much, and he is such a great tech. He kind of has, he has a gray beard. He kind of looks like Santa Claus, but he's younger than me. But he has more gray than me. That's for sure. But anyway, he's one of the greatest guys. And like, we'd go into the meeting, Keith would either bring in burritos or something from, breakfast burritos from McDonald's, or bring in donuts, anything. Those were always good days, and we'd sit around, he'd tell us, hey, we'd have our stats up on the wall, and you can see the competition between all the technicians and what they did during the week and what their numbers were, how many signs they got out, all these things. He built that. Our manager built that confidence into us and everything. I got to shut my phone off. So they built that confidence in. That's how important it was. That's how important it was for me, is building that confidence and building it such a good way that it was just strong, and you could feel it. Again, it was fun. I was really the job at that time. I just didn't think that this job could get any better, but it does. So in meeting these guys, and then of course at that time we had Kurt there. Kurt was, I called him the giant. Man, this guy is huge. I mean, kind of lurch, big guy. He was a great guy. And just going through all these is just like, and time passes by. And then of course, other technicians come on board. You get to meet these guys. You get to see their strengths and their weaknesses and all these other things. And then of course, at the time I had, I can't remember her name, but anyway, she was my dispatcher. You kind of developed a relationship. But at this time, now keep this in mind, I'm number 4 technician, and I think there was 5 or 6 of us at the time. And but man, it was just totally amazing. And so I did that, and one day I walked into Keith's office and I said to him, this is after I went to school, and I said, man, I need to know what to do. And he always gave me great advice, and I'd go out there and use his advice. And I did exactly. I followed the plan. I was getting through my booklet. I wanted to have that patch on my coat so bad. I wanted to be a Next Star Elite. I wanted it so bad, and I was working my way towards that. That day I went into his office. And we did kind of like a role play. And he told me, put the pad on it, turn it around, and push it to the customer when you're done. And I did that. And I got a lot more things done, because I'm giving the customer the choice. Again, I'm not making the decision for them. I'm letting them make the choice. And I was successful. And then I started getting higher tickets. I still had my turnovers. I was always good on my turnovers, but I was starting to get tickets, and then it happened. I was at a customer's house and I spun around and got my foot caught on something and it kind of blew my knee out. I was out of commission right then and there for quite a while. As a matter of fact, as you'll learn, longer than that. But anyway, so I ended up coming into the office, and that's when I got a relationship with Ann. Ann is the administrative assistant, and she is by far the nicest woman I've ever met in my entire life. Uh, and she has helped me out up until this day. She still helps me to be successful, and that's what she does. And she takes care of everything. I mean, she sets up the meetings, or the food for company meetings, and anything that needs to be done, all the everything. I mean, she's got so much that she does. It's amazing. I don't know how she does it. And it's no wonder that this woman's not burned out by now, especially now. So with all that being said, there's all this coming in, all this stuff coming in, and she just takes care of it all. And she's such God, I love her so much. She's such a great person. And I bug the hell out of her though. I do. I shouldn't, but I do. But anyway, so after blowing my knee out, I got to come in the office and I got to, I knew Service Titan really well. I started out doing some dispatching, but that didn't go well because of Julie. Now, I'm not saying Julie was the problem. I'm saying that her and I are both Scorpios, and we are stubborn people. And I would find out that when her and I were literally working together, I think it was only one time that her and I really butted heads. And it just being dispatcher just wasn't going to cut it after that. And so they gave me a little bit of a different position, and that means to work with Service Titan, and then I would end up doing calling in on permits and doing warranties and stuff. That's kind of what I do today. But Julie, I found out that Julie acts like she's a hard ass, and believe me, she is. But she is a very good manager, and I've seen it myself, and she's got the biggest heart of anybody that I've worked with. I mean, everybody, Keith, Nathan, Ann, they all have really great hearts. And it's really amazing when you work with somebody. When you think they don't like you, they're just trying to make you stronger and make and understand that they have a job to do, and they can't make any mistakes. And if they're making mistakes, that means because they're not teaching you the proper ways. And that's what Julie's all about. To this day, every one of the people that work with her, and she has got a squad, she has got people who work with her. And these people, these women are awesome. All of them. There's not one of them I dislike. I mean, I don't get to spend a lot of time with them, which I wish I could, but I'm busy. They're busy. Everybody's busy around that office, and they're doing their thing. And it's just Julie is really great. And I'm gonna tell you something. I got really sick, and I ended up in the hospital. And Julie took care of my wife, sending food, and the whole company took care of me as a family would, when none of my family was doing nothing. But I had close friends. I had my family at Rapids who were praying for me all the time to come through my sickness, because I had COVID and I ended up in the hospital. And through that, I was just, completely really sick. And Julie did a lot. They all did. I mean, every one of them did a lot. And I can't thank them enough for that. So when when I did go into the hospital, at the time, there was people coming and going. Like, when I was there, we had a sales manager. He had left, and then the warehouse manager left, and we had new people coming in, new positions. We had one sales manager got there, and he left the company, and then we had another one that came in there. And I always thought he was really good at what he did, and I mean, he come from a major company and all this other stuff, and I thought, this guy is gonna stick. He was an older guy. He was real good to get along with. And then during this time when I'm in, there's new technicians coming in, there's new people, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of things going on, and all this stuff just going on. So I'm gonna speed this up a little because I got a lot of people to talk about yet. So I ended up in the hospital. I actually spent 140 days in the hospital, and let me tell you, when I was in the hospital, one of my biggest motivations was to get back to work. I wanted to get back to work. And when I was in the hospital, I do remember Nathan calling me up. He asked me how I was doing. And I said to Nathan, I go, my motivation is to come back to work. I just want to know I got a job. And he says, yeah, you got a job. When you recover, just recover. And he goes, we really like you. We want you to come back. And that was the conversation I had with him. And I couldn't believe that he actually called me quite a bit. I mean, to check on me, as Keith, and texted me and asked me how things are going and all this other stuff. I shared my when I was in the hospital, like learning how to walk all over again, and again, I shared those pictures and everything with my family at Rapids. And the first time I took some steps, and and they're seeing this guy who was walking through their office, and they're watching me learn how to walk, how to stand up, and recovering throughout the whole thing. And when that happened, I was just completely blown away by it all. But what really blew me away is when I got out. And I got out, it was a couple months after I got out, and I got to go visit everybody. And you got to understand, I was with a walker at this time, and I'd lost 100 pounds, and I was like really, really, really like looking like an old man. And I wanted to go back and see everybody. But when I walked through that door, there was a whole lot more people there. I mean, there was a whole new building there. I mean, in a year, I couldn't believe everything that had happened. It was just completely blew me away. And all these new people, people I didn't know, technicians I didn't even know. It was like this huge change, and it only happened in a year. Lord, have mercy. But the good part about it was this, is you're with a company, and a company feels so strong about you that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get you back. And there's a lot I can't talk about, but I'm telling you right now, I have, by far, this is the best company I have ever worked for in my entire life. And I'm not just saying that because this doesn't count. But moving on. So when I came back to work, after a year. And during the time when I was in the hospital, one of my best friends ended up working for the company. And that's like one of those oh shit moments. Oh shit. And when I got back to work, they had let me get situated. I got a computer, I got my desk where I was going to be at. I wanted the office, but they wouldn't give me the office because they put one of my best friends in there, and that was amazing. To see him in there. One of the technicians, his name is Grant. Me and Grant, before I got sick, we went golfing together. We went on a weekend getaway together, and he's a really good kid. Him and I are like we bump heads quite a bit, but he doesn't realize that I do have a lot of respect for him, and I really don't think he understands that. And he might say he understands it, but sometimes actions speak louder than words. And I want to tell you about him, and I might spend some time on him, but Grant is a very, very inquisitive, funny, and caring person, and very cocky, believe me. And what I like about him the most is that he puts his family first, and his family before work. And me, I think it's the other way around, because Graphics is the only company that is my family, makes me feel like I have my family. And I don't know, it's really hard to describe, but when I watch Grant, when I watched Grant when he first came to the company, and he was this turnover tech, and he was bam, 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 knocking out these jobs one after the other, and doing turnovers after the other. And I was like, man, this guy's just amazing, and golfing with him. And every time I'd see him golf, this guy would come out in golf outfits and everything. I was like, dude, man, just wear some shorts. Why do you have to do this? And I'll be honest, I was kind of jealous, and I was like, God, this kid's just, he's outdoing me with everything. What is he outdoing me with? I have no idea. But I at the time, I was just like watching him grow, and he had a mission, and he wanted to be the best, and he turned out to be the best. And then when they increased our technician capacity, he got the job to being the assistant manager of tech manager, service manager. And I really couldn't think of a better guy for the job, although there was other technicians who wanted the job. He was the one that earned the job, and he earned it good, because it wasn't because he was friends with Chris or Keith. It wasn't because we all went golfing together and he was close to everybody. It's because he earned it. This kid worked hard to earn it. And this is why I respect him. I respect him for the work he's done. He works hard for what he has gotten. He puts his family first. He loves his family. And not to mention, he's just had, he had a little boy. God, I think it was a year ago already. But he's got this personality that makes you want to listen to him. However, when you listen to him as a friend for sometimes, just get it out. Please, just get it out. Tell the story, get done with it. And I am the biggest gabber that there is. And this boy, sometimes just the way, it's like, listening, having an instructor where it's hot in a room, and you're listening to, and you're just like trying to nod out. But that's okay, because honest to God, I love that kid, but he doesn't know that. And because I doubt if he'll ever watch this movie, but he's a good kid. I'm very proud of him in a lot of different ways. Moving on, we got Jake. There's two Jakes, Jake M and Jake H. Let's talk about Jake H. This guy he was put into a position because he was great at what he did. And he is, to this day, he's the nicest person. He's always saying good morning to me, and like everybody else. But, it's like, he's really, like, he's a sales manager, and he chooses all of his salespeople really well, and I think he's very strong at it. And he's like everybody else, he's a devoted Christian. He is actually a I believe he's an emergency. Something has to do with the fire department. I'm sorry if I forgot. And just forgive me for that, okay, Jake, if you do listen to this. But think about that. Think about that. He's doing this. He wears the thing on. His truck's all got all the lights and stuff like that on it. And it's like, this guy's ready to go at a moment's time. Like, boom, he's gone. He's out saving somebody's life or helping somebody to survive something. Guy, you just can't help but look up to the guy and, think that, he's just, look at all these people I'm talking about right now. This is in a company. Think about it, and even though, it's like when I go in, I ask him, is there anything I can do for you, and he says, yeah, if you could do this, and I try to get to it, or knowing me, sometimes I even forget, which I don't try to, guys. It's just, gotta remind me, okay? Send me a text, keep me informed. That's all I ask for. So, and you got this guy who's doing that, he's got a family, he's got his career at where we work at, and plus he's out saving people. Gotta admire the guy a lot. And then we got Jake M. Jake M is our warehouse manager, soon to be moving up in the company, which he deserves to move up. To me, he's one of the smartest people I know. He is witty, smart, and it's like you throw a number at him, he can be like, yeah, it's that, he doesn't actually, he's gonna be doing some podcasts with me, which I'm really excited about that. But it took me a while to get to know him a little bit better, because he took the place of some guy that I really didn't like, and out of the whole company, that was the only guy I didn't like. But he had an attitude, that's why I didn't like him. But Jake is totally different. When I got to know him a little bit better, and I know that he's a follower of Christ, and not only that, every time I go to talk to him, he takes a little bit of time, lets me talk to him. We have a little bit of I like to talk to everybody, and I'm sure if they're listening to this, they know that I like to talk. They know that I enjoy talking. Sometimes I shouldn't be talking, but I do it anyway. I'm sorry to everybody, but I like to talk. And Jake, being as smart as he has taken our warehouse as being a warehouse manager. He has built an empire just in that alone. And it's such a great feeling to know that he is taking care of that. But he's got a lot of things. I mean, he works a lot of hours to make that thing roll like that. And I really like him a lot. I think he's got a lot to give the company and his new position. I really want to congratulate him on that. He earns that. Everybody's getting new positions. Everybody's moving up. I work with a couple of really good people, Shane and Kara. I work with them. They're awesome. And I kind of work right by them, real close. And I'm stuck in the middle of all these women. And yeah, I think that's God's way of punishing me a little bit, maybe. Could be. Who knows? But they keep me in line, because I don't have a switch you can turn on and off. I have no sensors. I blurt things out that I shouldn't, and they keep me in line. Yeah. So now we're going to talk about Spike. Yeah. Let's talk about Spike. This guy has got to be the craziest person in our company. And when I mean crazy, this guy brings more morale. He brings more of excitement and he just makes you all stop and look, and you say, is this guy serious? And he's, believe me, he's serious. But he is just like the best MC. He builds up morale, he builds people up, he gets people to laugh even when you don't want to laugh. He's, like in the morning when I come into work, I walk right by his office, I say good morning to him. Sometimes he's like, good morning, or he goes, oh, good morning, Robert, it's like that or whatever. And then he's singing in there, and he gets a song in his head, and he's singing, he's going through the building, and he's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And when Grant walks in, him and Grant are going back and forth at each other. It's just funny. That's before the whole office comes in there. It's hilarious. I should once just shoot a movie of these guys going back and forth. It's hilarious, And Spike, he is the install manager, and I'm telling you, he's got a lot of responsibility, and I would not want to have that much responsibility. And so he's a devoted father. His wife is amazing because his wife works for us. Angie, she is top notch. And I just have a lot of respect for her and him because they're raising their kids right. And they're not allowing their kids to fall into that. I mean, they play board games. They do family activities. They ride bikes. And Spike, he rides bikes. I mean, he's got some expensive bikes, as Nathan. Nathan and him both are like the bikers, along with Keith and Grant, which I wish I could have been, but I'm trying to afford to get a bike right now that just, I lay down on it, and it's got 3 wheels, and it's got the pedals out in front, and you can move it. I'd like to do that. As a matter of fact, I got someone right now I'm talking to about it. And with that being said, I mean, it's just all these people. Spike, he's an amazing guy. I've grown to have a good relationship with him. He talks to me, which, he doesn't have time to chit chat though, but he keeps working. He's very devoted to his job. So if I missed anybody, I do apologize, but in the end, I just want to say this. When I started with Graphids was a very, it was small and it was growing, and we grew and grew and grew. And that was because we followed the plan. We followed what we were supposed to do. Everything was perfect. Everything worked great. We had our bumps in the road. We have slow times. We have great times. There's, me ending up in the hospital, and they were there to help me to come back to work, to be able to come back to work, and have to allow me time to get my brain wrapped around everything. That's a good company, because not many companies would have done that for me. And they work it in a way that they're to this day, they're still allowing me to work there, even though I do make some mistakes, but because of what had happened to me. But they're the biggest part of my life. And if I didn't have them in my life, I do not know what I would do. I really don't know what I would do. And I'm very proud to be a part of that family. I'm proud to know everybody. So if anybody does watch this, I just want you to know this. You guys have been really great to me, and I love you all. And if someday I should ever have to leave the company, I just want you all to know from this. This is the best 5 years of my life. Even when I was sick, you guys were there for me. And Keith, I can't thank you enough for all that you've done for me and being there as a friend. And, and now you're GM, you're the big kahuna, and nobody could ever match you at all. And Nathan, you keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing what you're building your family, and your family's growing. Think of all these people you have working for you. Dance with the ones that brought you, Nathan. Keep them close to your heart, because without those people, where would you be today? Without those people, what would you be doing? Remember that. Keep that in your mind. Never lose that spark you have. And, to everybody else, you're working for a really good company. If you think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, it's not. You're working. You're with a family that cares. They care about their family. They care about every one of you like they cared for me. So all I'm going to say in closing is here, thank you for everybody. Thank you for the times that I've had, the laughs, the laughter. Oh my God, you guys have no idea the laughter through this company every single day. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's having a good time. It's such a great, birthdays almost all the time. Happy birthday. To come out and bring you a cake. I got fruit, but they brought, everything. Amazing company. Amazing people. Thanks for everything. God bless.